Hey guys, what's up? Inksmith back again, and today I feel a fake mental illness coming on, so I better turn on my camera and record a TikTok. That's right, we're covering the fake mental illness series. Now, this is not to put aside the seriousness of actual real mental diagnosis, and I'm not trying to mock that. I have my own, as I've mentioned in the past, and I have many friends who do. So what is the most infuriating aspect of this is the people who nearly mock those who do have these illnesses by faking them themselves in order to get clout, fans, followers, subscribers, whatever it may be. All purposes are lecherous and disgusting. And today, one of those horrible people we're going to cover is a TikToker known as TicsAndRoses, aka Emerald. TicsAndRoses began her very famous, or at this point infamous, career by uploading small shorts of her dealing with life every day and the tics that came with the severity of Tourette's that she had, or at least that she was faking. She would go throughout the day showing simple things like making a meal, getting ready in the morning, putting on makeup, and how Tourette's affected that process. Let's take a look at some of these absolutely cringe-worthy videos.
Oh God! Moving on. Send me to Canada! I'll get her a new one.
And I wanted to talk a little bit about wow. I wanted to talk wow. I wanted to talk a little bit about wow. Never mind.
Wow! Eat the burrito. No. One for you! Woo!
Ugh, I can barely watch this stuff. This is so cringe inducing and so infuriating to watch. I guess it's story time because in college I had a band and my bassist in the band had Tourette's. So I do have experience with seeing people with actual diagnosis of Tourette's. And one of the main things that tipped me off right away how fake this was is there is multiple times during her quote-unquote conniption fits that she stops and stares at the camera after it just happened, and other times where she will have this sudden burst of quote-unquote Tourette's tics, and not only will it be related to whatever she's doing, but it'll be related to the object she's holding or what she's trying to work with. She even adds in a fake crash sound when she throws a plastic bin off screen, I guess to make this whole thing seem far more dramatic than it is. And there's just so many things wrong with all of this. First of all, when people have their Tourette's outbreaks, when they have it happening quite a bit, it comes in waves. There's sometimes where it's really bad for them, sometimes where they have medicine that they take to kind of calm it down. But the one thing I will always remember about my friend who had Tourette's is that he did his best to never call any attention to it at all. He didn't stop talking or stop and change the subject or stop and be like, oh, well, that just happened, or stop and stare at me and smile. He would keep getting through whatever he was trying to tell me, and it would be the same as if one of us had a hiccup, or if we suddenly coughed or something in the middle of talking. It was nothing like this sudden stop, stare at the camera, get recognition, does everyone approve, I'm so wacky. It was nothing like that. It was more of a serious thing too, and it was never related to what he was doing. When he was playing bass in my band, his main tic would be him fluttering his eyes or constantly jerking his neck, but it had nothing to do with what he was actually doing in the band. And he did everything he could to not call attention to this. He wasn't proud of this. This wasn't a fun thing for him. This wasn't something he wanted to gloat about or smile or laugh about. And in fact, the dude was pretty grim. We were a black metal band, so go figure. So, as you may have suspected, quite a few TikTokers, especially those who actually have Tourette's, started to call out TicsAndRoses. In fact, so much so that she felt a need to present a doctor's diagnosis of her actually having Tourette's syndrome. Let's take a look at that diagnosis and see how legit it is. So she shows up on her TikTok and says, for all you doubters, for all you haters out there, take a damn look. Virginia Mason is my doctor that I go to, and this is the medical absolute 100% certification that says I am diagnosed with severe Tourette syndrome, and also everything I have said is 100% real. How dare you ever doubt my diagnosis? I am TicsAndRoses, and I do not lie. Now, this is something I would imagine something like I don't know, a high school student doing, or maybe even a junior high school kid desperate for some attention. When I see a lot of these kids this age fake mental illnesses on TikTok, I tend not really to get that angry because, quite frankly, that part of your life is pretty confusing. You got hormones going all around your body, your brain's shooting off all kinds of crazy signals. I think a part of you really is mentally unstable at certain points through junior high school and high school. I know I certainly was. But this woman is 27 years old, and by the time I'm making this video, she's 30 with a kid, all right? This is a grown-ass woman with a family, all right? This isn't a little high school sweetheart lying about something to get a boyfriend, okay? This is a woman in her 30s lying about a severe mental diagnosis or neurological disorder to get what? To get what? To get clout and flame. Oh yeah, and she had a business on the side. Forgot to mention that she has a yarn dyeing business. Now, when I heard people mention yarn dyeing in the past, they're like, what the hell is a yarn dyeing business? Like making string and coloring it by adding inks to it, I guess is the best way I could describe that. But I think it's probably recently been converted. Instead of being a yarn dyeing business, it's just a dyeing business, if you know what I mean, because nobody's going to be buying her product anymore. She's been outed. But before she finally got outed, before she finally got her absolute comeuppance, she decided to come forward and say, guys, how dare you ever deny my report? I know some of you are saying you got totally different doctor's diagnosis papers. The slip of paper I got doesn't match to the one you got from the same hospital. I know a lot of people have been coming online and saying, hey, you know how you're a Virginia Mason doctor's clinic, the header looks a little bit scuffed? Well, that's because it's not the right one. Actually, you found that on a Google search. It's the first Google search image you can find for Virginia Mason Hospital. It's not real. The real one's got a TM mark. The real one's got a different design to it and everything. And also, you might have messed this up because you put your doctor's diagnosis double time down in the list of things you have diagnosed. No doctor's so dumb as to mess up an entire diagnosis paper and type it like they're still in junior high school. Let's get real, sister, okay? So she says, okay, fine. I don't have Tourette's, whatever. That's cool. You guys can call me out on that. But what I do have is Huntington's disease, and she makes a new statement online.
My name is Emerald, and I have Huntington's disease. It affects all aspects of a person's life. It causes movement disorders, such as involuntary jerking, impaired gait and balance, and difficulty with speech and swallowing.
Now, here's where I will give her a little bit of a credit. There is actually Huntington's disease in her family, and in fact, her sister did come out later and prove this, that her grandfather does have Huntington's disease. She said she's not sure if her mother has it or if she has it, and she's not sure if Emerald here has it either, but it is possibly inherited, so it could come out later in life, like around the age of 40, which is more common for this progressive disease. Now, the thing that doesn't work out with Huntington's disease is if you actually go and look it up and have people you know who have it, like I do in my family, you find out that there isn't the same effects as Tourette's. Yes, there is twitching. Yes, there is involuntary muscle movements. But what is very, very different is the fact that with Tourette's, you have audible tics. That means the person usually shouts something or says something at times if they're having a really bad case go on. It's not always commonly possible, but what she's showing is only a tic that would happen during Tourette's. Shouting things out or yelling certain words is not a Huntington's disease aspect. It does not make you verbally say anything. It could make your arm twitch. It could make your leg twitch. It could make your head suddenly move or parts of your body get rigid. But you would not be shouting, wow, 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 over and over again. That doesn't happen with Huntington's disease. So why did she fake Tourette's? Well, there's quite a few theories, and we're going to look into that now. And we're also going to explore how exactly did the internet find out just how fake her own self-diagnosis was. What you're seeing now is going to be slowed down footage of back when Emerald, or TicsAndRoses, used to have no TikTok and only ran her yarn dyeing business. During that time, she would do online streams and talk about her products that she would sell. The stream you're looking at right now is a recorded 58 minutes of her not having a single tick at all. Later, she would create her TikTok and recite nursery rhymes to show just how much she would mess up due to the affliction of the Tourette's that she had. Yet, in the past, people found multiple poetry readings that you will now see side by side that show her having absolutely non-existent tics. Now, of course, like I've said, there's medication and there's things that can lower the amount of tics you have, but there is not one unresolved cure for any sort of tics within Tourette's. There's not one cure-all medicine that would suddenly shut it down for 58 minutes straight. You know, maybe I could see getting away with 2 minutes of being able to hold it together and not have any tics, but I know for a fact, working with my own artists who have Tourette's themselves, it's a very hard time to go for an hour or more with absolutely having nothing that you can't control happen. And this is undoubtable proof that she herself had that. Now, if that isn't enough for you, the last straw finally hit the camel's back, and the truth was broken wide open with a letter from her very sister to Reddit covering this. And if you're wondering about the prosperity of this letter, whether or not it's actual legit, yes, this person did include a lot of family pictures. Later, this post was taken down because it actually did share a little bit too much of like little child pictures from back when they were kids and played together and stuff like that. I'm not going to share that, but I am going to read the letter that Emerald's sister wrote. Introduction and the Truth by her sister, who, by the way, seems like an awesome person and loving and caring. Even though she knows her own sister, TicsAndRoses, has done something horrible, she still comes across as quite genuine, loving, and caring. So good on her. The message goes, "Hi, everyone. I recently found out about everything going on. I wanted to clear up some misconceptions and share my part. I am Emerald's sister, and we grew up together. Although we were raised non-denominational Christian, my mother, who, by the way, is an amazing woman, and I have always been supportive of Emerald and miss them dearly. We have always accepted her. They cut communication with us. We have tried to reach out, but they no longer wish to contact with us, and we haven't talked in years. I am just commenting in hopes of clearing up misinformation. Also, my grandpa does have Huntington's. It's late onset, which means it doesn't show up until late in life. My grandpa is currently suffering from the side effects and is not doing well. It's very sad. My mother has it too, but it has not yet been showing symptoms, thankfully, and I have not been tested. Lastly, I don't believe Emerald has Tourette's syndrome, and they never showed any symptoms as a child. They are mentally ill, though. I love my sister always and wish them the best, but I don't agree with what they have done. It's incredibly disrespectful to fake a mental illness for any reason. I am extending my sincerest apology to everyone. Their actions have hurt. Although I know it's not my apology to give. I do wish for Emerald's safety. All I ask is respect and privacy for my parents and my grandparents. And if you don't believe me, I'm happy to answer any questions you all may have, as long as they are not disrespectful." This was the final cap on the case. After this, TicsAndRoses deleted her TikTok account, took down a lot of her past profiles on social media, took down a lot of her past posts in which she showed her Tourette syndrome, and took down a lot of the stuff off of Facebook, her live streams, and anything like that, and pretty much went silent with one final response.
Trying to address this anymore because addressing it has not fixed it. I was literally bullied off the internet. So I do not do awareness for Tourette's anymore, regardless of the fact that I do have a clinical diagnosis. So I'm spending my time on my yarn business and on my religious group, and I just want to live my life, and yeah.
Well, Emerald, it's good to hear you're spending time with your prayer group because, girl, you need God. Sorry, I couldn't help myself when I heard that part. Yeah, this is pretty pathetic. I mean, it's great she gave everybody a final response, but she does nothing to fix anything that she's done from the past. She doesn't admit any fault at all. She doesn't say sorry. She says she still has Tourette's, which I guess now it's not Huntington's disease anymore. Now it's back to Tourette's. So which one is it? Make up your mind, Emerald. Maybe she has both. Maybe she has like a whole compound fracture of mental illnesses. I don't know what to tell you guys. I'm not a doctor. But one thing I do know is she doesn't have a doctor either actually diagnosing any of this. It's amazing to me that people of her age, and remember, this is a 30-year-old woman with a kid, can spend their time on the internet making up fake things to get them attention. Is the world not crazy enough for you already? Is there not enough drama in the world already? Is there not enough other people who are actually in pain and need our care for you already that you need to make it about yourself? It's gross, it's sickening, and the thing that pains me the most is that she uses a group of people who probably don't even want to be afflicted with this and instead turned it into a way to profit, not just for her TikTok, but for her yarn business as well. There was no point with us as a band having a member with Tourette's that we used it to sell our band. That would be so uncalled for and just gross and manipulative. And that's exactly what this girl did. I can't imagine going down that path in life. But you never know. TikTok shows off some crazy stuff. It's pretty wild. And that's why I like to cover some of these things. TikTok really has some wacky out there things. Like I said, in the past, I've seen things with high school kids and junior high school kids faking mental illness, and I can't really get on their case too much, especially when they're just messing up or even saying things like bad words or racist words or slurs or things like that, mostly just because I feel like we're not a fully developed mind at that point and we make a ton of mistakes in life. A lot of you would have made the same mistakes. I would have made the same mistakes if we had had social media and TikTok blowing up as we grew up. So it's hard for me to want to blame them, but the people who are close to my same age and making these mistakes now in our modern age, not gonna defend it. And in fact, I'm gonna call it out like I did here. Guys, do you have any TikTok cases you want me to cover for the future? I'm having a good time covering these because they're very new, very fresh, and interesting. I'd like to take a little bit of a break from all the YouTube downfalls and cover a little bit more of these TikTok ones. So please call my attention to more. I'd love to cover whatever topic you have for me. Until next time, I've been the Inksmith, and I hope you have a great rest of the day.